Avoidance can be addicted to social media. It is not uncommon for severe avoidance to spend tons of time on social media apps seeking validation. The social media addiction is a method of avoidance because that's what avoidants do. They avoid. They avoid processing emotions. They avoid self-reflection. They avoid anything that is painful or uncomfortable. Rather than process and reflect on stressful emotions or any kind of pain, they bury it, they suppress it, they find a way to distract themselves. Social media is a perfect escape route for the avoidant, especially when they're getting validation, because severe avoidants don't know how to internally validate themselves. They are very insecure. And this goes to childhood, when the avoidant was not loved, was not nurtured in the way that they needed to be as children. They were often emotionally neglected and their feelings were dismissed. The end result is an adult that doesn't know how to validate themselves because they feel unlovable at the core. So they seek confirmation from others that they are in fact lovable. Severe avoidance can be prone to such behaviors as posting tons of selfies, seeking that like on the picture, seeking that person to tell them that they look wonderful, that they are wonderful. Each little like providing its own dopamine hit, telling them that they are okay, even when they believe that they're actually not. And it's very common for severe avoidance to seek romantic validation, attention in that kind of way on social media. Even when they're in a relationship, they'll be flirting, sending flirtatious photos, seeking the likes, seeking that kind of attention through their posts because it makes them feel better about themselves. A person who is very insecure feels better when they know that they are wanted, when they are desired. It gives them that dopamine and it distracts their mind from facing any of the painful emotions, from anything that they don't want to actually face. Because again, that's what they do. They avoid. They run from problems, they run from emotions rather than process them and reflect on them. Avoidants in general are more prone to addictive behaviors. This is because addictive behaviors are a method of avoiding. It distracts them. It keeps their mind preoccupied so they don't have to reflect on painful emotions, so they don't have to process the emotions. And the addictive behavior could be gambling, could be a sex addiction, alcoholism, drugs, or social media. That addiction gives them the dopamine hit that also makes them feel better about themselves in the moment. Because at their core, they are people that have very low self-esteem. And that dopamine hit and that validation temporarily will make them feel better about themselves. It's very common for them to also be addicted to dating apps, even when they're in a relationship. It is a constant supply of that external validation that they so desperately crave. Every swipe right, every like, every message is a dopamine hit. It is validation. It makes them feel wanted and makes them feel desirable. Severe avoidants often have a significant reluctance to get off of dating apps once they're in a relationship. Or they can often tell their partner that they're off the app, but in reality, they are not. And that's again because this is a person that does not know how to internally validate themselves. Their self-esteem is so low that they're just seeking some sort of confirmation that they're desired by anybody in the world. It's a result of really a lack of self-worth. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who's avoidant and they're constantly on social media, they're posting selfies, they're constantly seeking that attention, especially in a romantic way, or if they refuse to get off the dating apps and you keep on catching them going onto the apps to get those likes, to message random people or to get messages, understand it's not because you aren't good enough for them. It's because this is a person that has a very low self-esteem. This is a person who needs external validation. This is a person who feels unlovable at their core. This is a person that avoids processing emotions, that avoids self-reflection. This is a person that's learned to run from problems rather than actually handle them and tackle them head on. This is a person that has shown that they are ultimately so insecure that they are wrapped up in themselves and they're not considering the impact that these behaviors actually have on a partner. It is quite selfish, but it's always a reflection of them. It's never a reflection of you. And don't blame yourself. If they're on dating apps while you're together, if they're seeking unhealthy attention on social media while you're together, you didn't cause that. When you blame yourself, you push yourself further into anxiety. You can't make anybody do anything, and you certainly aren't responsible for that kind of behavior. It was their choice, and yes, it is a choice.